Second. The fuck you mean rotating device? Cut that shit out. Starting to piss me off. All right. I guess it's fun right there. Just a moment, I'm having trouble setting this shit up. All right, Dan, I'll just rotate you this way. I'm not gonna sit here and spend all day on guessing games. Let's see. Are you facing me? What your problem is, but you better lean back real quick. Hey, yeah. Let's make sure this is recording. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, ahchyam, Yahweh Shai, ahchyam HaKadosh. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, ahchyam, Yahweh Shai. And I'm out here once again to prophesy the downfall of America, which is known as Babylon the Great in the Holy Scriptures, and to let our people know, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians, that you are God's true chosen people according to the Holy Scriptures. Now, there's been a lot that's been happening in the news as of late. The latest report is this NYC terror attack. And if you know anything about this New York City terror attack that happened down in New York City, some 19-year-old with a machete attacked 3 officers. They say that 2 of them got lacerated with this machete, and that they had to be rushed to the hospital. The 19-year-old who had the machete got shot in the shoulder. Now, I don't know how true this is. They have yet to show pictures of the 3 officers who were attacked, or the ones who had to be rushed to the hospital to receive stitches because they got hit with a laceration. So there's been a lot happening in the news. Okay, there was a lot of officers at the scene. A lot of people were told by the police officers that they had to go to a different location. They couldn't stay right there. There were dozens of police officers there. It's all over Twitter. It's on TikTok. And now they're saying that the person that they are investigating, they're saying that they're investigating the 19-year-old to see if he's a radical Islamist extremist. So you know they're going to try to use that little scenario to try to tie that to the BHI. Because amongst the extremist terrorist groups, who do they have listed? They have ISIS, they have the Islamic Republic, they have the BHI, they have IUIC in there, and many other Israelite groups. The Black Panthers are also in there. So they're trying to label us, the Hebrew Israelites, as a terrorist group. But they need some kind of justification in order to say, hey, look, these guys who is a radical group, they're going out there influencing people they're going out there influencing people to attack synagogues and different police. But we're not inciting people to do shit. Okay? The Lord commanded us to be peaceful. Yahushua in the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter, did not he say, be ye wise as serpents and harmless as doves? So how the hell are we enticing people to do bad things? Now, whether if that machete attack was real or not, guess what? We ain't got no ties to it. Okay? We're out here on a mission for one thing and one thing only. Well, several things. That's to preach the gospel, to fish for the elect, and to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling so that we can receive salvation. So be on the lookout. You call yourself being a brother in this truth. Be on the lookout for this New York City Islamic attack. Okay, be on the lookout for this New York City terror attack. Okay? And this happened on New Year's Eve, where there's a large crowd of people. So they can also say, well, because it was a large group of people, the police was unable to see the attack coming. Meanwhile, they're armed with guns. Okay? They're in a confined space. How can you not see a 19-year-old with a machete coming? Now, could this 19-year-old have been a MK Ultra victim? Possibly. But only time will tell, okay? We're going to see what they have to say about this New York City terror attack. They're already investigating the guy, seeing if he's related to some radical Islamic group. So let's start with this right here, because we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. It says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. So when you walk circumspectly, the word circum means in a circle, like around you, and then you got the word spect, which goes back to watch. So when you're being circumspect, you're watching everything around you. The events that are going on in the news, these different agents, these different infiltrators amongst these other groups. You're watching out for different false teachings amongst these different Israelite groups. You're watching yourself, your actions. You're watching for certain events and lining them up with the prophecies. This is how you be circumspect, not as fools. Those people down there in New York City that was being told by the police, move, move, you gotta go this way, come on, move. Everybody didn't know what the hell was going on. You know why? Because those are fools. Okay? Those are fools. They was not being circumspect. Okay? They were being circumspect as, okay? They were not being circumspect. They were as fools. They was not expecting, you know, some kind of event to go on right then and there. They was expecting to go down there to celebrate New Year's and then to go home and celebrate with their family. Nah. They went down there and they was in for a surprise. So if you call yourself being a brother in this truth, you got to be circumspect, not as a fool, but as wise. Why? Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. And when you redeem the time, you're counting. You're counting. You're not counting, but you're basically lining them up with Bible prophecy. That's how you redeem the time. Okay, this happened. Let's line it up with that and see how it ties to Bible prophecy. That's how you redeem the time. Okay, there's all these different events going on. Okay, we got the central banking digital systems trying to set themselves up. They're pushing towards a cashless society. China is already moving towards a cashless society. They already have a point system set up where if they see something suspicious, they report it to the police and they get points for it. Okay? So there's all kinds of things going on right now. And excuse me, it's raining outside. So, fucking rain. but understanding what the will of the Lord is. And what is the will of the Lord? Well, the will of the Lord is to bring his prophecies to pass. Because the sooner the Lord bring all these prophecies to pass, the sooner he can send his son back, the sooner we can get up out of Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America. Okay? Verse 18, and be not drunk with wine wherein is excess, but be filled, but be filled with the Spirit. Okay? So you got to be circumspect, because you never know when these devils will try to make their move. You know, because if you're not watching, then what? You're going to get caught up out there with your pants down. Okay? The scriptures speak about, you know, blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garment, lest he... No. Okay? He asked me if I would like a pack of lunch. Now I'm cool, okay? Okay? The Holy Scriptures right here is my lunch. This book right here is my lunch. Okay, I don't need your lunch, Esau. Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. Watch and pray. Yahushua said, watch and pray. Okay? You pray for what? You pray to the Lord to give you a spiritual insight as to what is going on in the news. If there's something happening in the news you can't seem to figure out how it lines up with Bible prophecy, well, the scripture said you're supposed to fast and pray on it. Okay? And you also pray for the Lord to keep you awake. Okay? You pray for the Lord to keep you awake. Because once you fall asleep, then this sort of destruction may come upon you. Okay? Recently, there was a guy who fell out the truth called Ramah Amah. Okay? So he's being rocked back to sleep. So you got to pray to the Lord to keep you awake. Because like it tells you in 1 Peter, which I'm going to get that soon, but right now I'd like to focus more on this NYC terrorist attack. Okay? So watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Right, because like it tells you in John the 6th chapter and the 63rd verse, the flesh profiteth nothing, it is the spirit that quickens. So while everybody was asleep, you know, busy celebrating New Year's Eve, right? Everybody was down there, you know, busy celebrating New Year's Eve. Guess what? The devil was making moves. And all those people down there got caught off guard. Oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? Why are all the police here? Why is the police running up and down the street? Well, why is their sirens going off? Why do they have their AKs out? Okay, if you look at their whole scenario, they had AKs out. I'm talking about the police. They had guns out, as if they was looking for a armed suspect. Now, even though they had already caught the 19-year-old, guess what? Their guns were still drawn. They was telling people, you know, no book bags, no book bags. You know, you can't have this, you can't have that. Basically, a controlled environment. And a lot of you people, you were just falling straight for it. Give me a moment. See if I can find this in first. Is it? I can't remember what it was. 1 Corinthians. He that prophesied, now again, brethren. Just a moment. not, I'm going to go to 1 Peter, the 5th chapter. So I don't necessarily need to find it. Let's go to 1 Peter. Okay. So this is 1 Peter 5 and 8. Be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And one example of a devil walking about seeking whom he may devour is is Esau coming with these different events. Now and now last year they came out with many different with many different scenarios where basically they said that Ish synagogues were being attacked. And then they tried to line it up with the BHI, which is all BS. So now this latest attack, which was done by a 19-year-old, they're trying to question him if he's being tied to the radical Islamic extremists. So we can clearly see where they are going with all this. So we got to be vigilant and we got to be sober. Okay. As a matter of fact, the scriptures say we're supposed to watch in all times. We're supposed to watch in all things. Okay, so and probably let's go to 2 Peter and see what we get there. No, it's in 1 Peter. Salah. Just a moment. Okay, this is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Yahushua said the exact same thing in Matthew. Yahushua said the exact same thing in Matthew 26 chapter. Okay, the end of all things is at hand. The end of what? The end of Esau Edom's empire. Okay, that's 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 7, all the way to 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, so the end of all things is at hand. We are at the very end of Esau Edom's empire. So the closer we get to the end of his empire, the more these gimmicks and gadgets and propaganda they're going to come out with their news media. So you got to watch. Okay? They're trying to say that this guy could possibly be a part of some Islamic radical group. So Yahushua said, be ye ready. For at a time that you think the Son of Man cometh, okay, you think not. Or at a time that you think the Son of Man not cometh, he cometh. Okay. 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse Beloved, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay? So even though they say that the NYC attack was a terrorist attack, don't be ignorant of Satan's devices. Because the vast majority of the people out there are ignorant of Satan's devices. Just like those gullible people down there in NYC during that whole situation. Okay? They was not expecting that. Okay? But we're not to be ignorant of Satan's devices. Furthermore, when you go into that word devices, it goes back to the Greek word naima, which means an evil purpose or a scheme. There is an evil purpose behind this whole NYC terror attack. Okay? Because here it is, they have satellites up in so-called space that can see even the smallest person on the ground. Well, you mean telling me they couldn't see a person with a machete coming at 3 officers? How did a person with a machete attack 3 armed officers? Nobody wants to question that. But people are just going to run with it. Okay? People are just going to run with it because they're simple. Okay? Now, there was another situation that happened, okay? There was a great beam of light that shined from the sky, which stretched over several countries, okay? And they said that they seen the presence of so-called UFOs when it happened. But wait a minute, that's written in the scriptures. Those are signs in the skies. And okay, well, let's get it. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25. Luke 21, verse 25. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations. So there's going to be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. So this great beam of light that was shining from the clouds, you know, all the way shooting up across the sky, that's a sign. That is a sign from the Lord. That is a sign that something is about to go down on the earth. And if you're not prepared, you're going to be destroyed. Okay? And I got a precept to that. Let's go to 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras, chapter 9. And I'll start at 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which there's uproars and earthquakes everywhere. You got uproars all over China, over energy costs, over energy crisis problem. You got people protesting in France because of the cost of living crisis. You got people in Europe protesting because they're freezing down there. They ain't got no gas. They ain't got no energy. Okay? You got people in Germany protesting because of inflation problems, rising food prices. Okay? You got people, where's that at? Is that at I think it's in one of those Arabian countries. You got people protesting, demanding a new leader. They're demanding new leadership. Protests have gone violent down there. You got people protesting in Athens, Greece, because of the cost of living price problems. Gas shortages are still persisting, and earthquakes, thousands of earthquakes are happening every day that are not reported in the news. So what? You got to go to alternative sources to get the information. So when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And how is the end manifest? Through these various prophecies and through these various prophecies and these different events that you see happening and taking place all over the world. Okay? Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And endings and effects and signs. Okay? That large beam of light that was going, that was shooting, it was just emitting across the sky. That's an ending and effect, and that's a sign. That's a sign that something is about to happen. Okay? Last year, there was a blood moon. Now, in Luke, it tells you that there shall be signs in the moon. Ever since then, what has been going on? All kind of laws and legislations have been being passed. All kind of draconian measures. Okay? Okay, now, recently, this whole situation between the United States and Taiwan and China has heated up again. Now, there was a rumor coming out that a war may break out between U.S.-backed mercenaries and China. Now, the tensions have gotten so high down there in China that China has literally sent, several war jets. They sent like 2 or 3 different war jets, several warships over into the Taiwan Strait. Meanwhile, the United States still got USS destroyers, which are warships over there, Meanwhile, you still got China fighting to claim sovereignty over the island of Taiwan. So let's get some scriptures on that. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet." So you're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars. And that's a rumor of a war right there. Okay, now, they also said that the United States of America had joined forces with NATO allies on the western borders of Russia. Now, they say that there was an attack on the Russian borders of allies. There was an attack on the Russian western borders, and that somebody lost their life over there. I don't know how true that is. But what we do know is that according to Isaiah, the Lord said that he would stir up Russia against the United States of America. So if we come over here to the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 17, it says what? "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them." Now, back in the ancient world, The Medes were known for taking down the ancient Babylonians. Now, ancient Babylon was not necessarily destroyed, it was simply hijacked. Okay, as a matter of fact, I believe it was Cambyses, the son of Cyrus, that took down the ruler of Babylon. Okay, Cambyses, the son of Cyrus, he took down the ruler of Babylon. So that Babylon began to be under new rulers, the rulers of the Medes. Babylon was no longer being ran by the Assyrians. Babylon was now being ruled and controlled by the Medes. Okay, and it all started with Cambyses, the son of Cyrus. And then what? You had Darius, who came after him. You had Darius the Mede. And then after Darius, you had who? You had Xerxes. And Xerxes, he was the one who set a campaign to attack the Greeks. But guess what? He failed. He failed in his campaign, in his war against the Greeks. And that's where the decline of the Persians of the Medes began, and that's when the Greeks started to rise up to power. Okay, but to make a long story short, the Medes were known for taking down the Babylonians. So the modern day Medes, now when you look on the Bible map, you'll find out that the land of the Medes, where the Russians dwell at today, that land was predominantly inhabited by Mede. And Mede was one of the sons of Japheth. Okay? Mede was one of the descendants of Japheth. So Mede was a Japhetic person. He was a Japhetic person. He came from the line of Japheth. So that whole land that they call Mede today, that whole land that they call Mede on the Bible map is now being called Russia. And who's living over there in the land of the Medes today? Edomites are, who are calling themselves Russians. So Edomites predominantly dwell in the land of Mede. So the modern day Medes today will be the Russians. Okay, and who's Babylon? Babylon is the United States of America. Okay, Isaiah 47:1. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Because the Lord said that he would stir up the Medes against them. Against who? Babylon. And America is modern day Babylon. So this is the book of Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. Now, why is this place called the virgin daughter of Babylon? Because this is the only country that has not been touched by other countries. Okay? This country has not been attacked by Russia. This country has not been attacked by Germany or Turkey or China. That's why this place is called a virgin. What is a virgin? A virgin is a woman that has not been touched by man. Now, when I say touch, I'm not talking about grab a woman. I'm talking about pop her. So this country has not been touched by other countries. That's why this place is called a virgin. Okay? And guess what? This country known as Babylon was not established until after the war against Britain, against the 13 colonies of Britain. Okay? But when the war with Britain and Spain was ended, then America was able to make a declaration of their independence from Britain. Then that's when America started to establish themselves as a independent country, and they started to rise up to power. So that's when America started to become Babylon the Great, after their independence from Britain, because their war against Spain had been ended. Okay. Furthermore, when we go to the book of Revelation, it gives you in even more detail who Babylon is. So let's go there. Revelation, let's see, and I'll start at 17, verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Now, you're going to come to find out that this great whore here is talking about Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America, the country that sitteth upon many waters, meaning many different multitudes, nations, and tongues. It says, whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth are made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And what is that wine? Well, what is that wine of the great whore? That's that democracy. Okay? Because some way, form, shape, or fashion, America's democracy has taken hold on the vast majority of these different countries. Okay? Your women in your country do not have to be wearing pants. They don't have to be wearing pants in order to be a democratic state. Okay. Okay. You know, you don't have to have skyscrapers in your country to be a democratic state. No. You know, for the most part, America have enforced their democracy on these different states. So I'm going to read it again. Revelation 17 and 2. Whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication with, and how have the kings represents the rulers of these different countries. How have they committed fornication with this country? Well, they committed fornication with this country through what? Mass marketed trade via ships. Okay? What do you think all these trades are about? America giving them this and that through what? Through commercial trade, through commodity trade. Okay? These countries have done various trades with America and have became rich. And not only that, but in the past, many different countries different people from different countries, heathens if you will, came over here to America to set up businesses and different corporations and different shops and all that. And what happened? They made money, major money from those businesses. And after a year of making a profit, they went back to their country. They converted the USDs into their currency, and they ended up being rich for life. So that's another way on how these nations have committed fornication with Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America. So it says, whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunken with the wine of her fornication. And that wine is that democracy. Okay? Because prior to America coming into power, every country was living by their own traditions and their own laws. But what happened as soon as America came into power? these countries started having skyscrapers. Well, guess what? The first skyscraper was built here in the United States, in the state of Chicago. That's where the first skyscraper came from. Now look, you got skyscrapers in China, skyscrapers in Japan, you got skyscrapers down there in Africa. You know, you got skyscrapers in Russia, you got skyscrapers in certain parts of the Middle East, in these Middle Eastern countries. It wasn't like that before. So where did these countries get the idea from where did these countries get the idea of skyscrapers from? They got it from America. Okay? So skyscrapers, you know, that's all a part of the wine of fornication. You know, these countries, you know, you never heard about, you know, gooks wearing suits. You never heard about Arabs wearing suits. Now look, you go to China, you got gooks dressed in suits, tuxedos. You know, their women is all decked out in whoredom. Because that's a part of the wine of America's fornication. Same thing with these Arabian countries. Their women never used to wear pants. Now you go down to Arabia, you see that the women are still covered up, but they're wearing jeans. They're wearing spandexes. You know, their men have been effeminized. Oh, and they got a McDonald's down there too. And that's all a part of the wine of Babylon's fornication. So verse 3 says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of the names of blasphemy. Okay? Full of the names of blasphemy. And the number one blasphemy they committed on the planet was saying that the Lord looked like a pale-skinned man with long hair, and you know, they had a picture of him half naked, touching pictures with a picture, another pale-skinned man, and he was naked, you know, full of blasphemy, you know, and also that blasphemy. What else is a part of that blasphemy is their technology. Okay, their technology is also part of that blasphemy, because on the left-hand side of pseudoscience, now they're saying they don't need the Most High. That's blasphemy. So they're also blasphemy through the use of their science. You know, saying that they don't need the Most High, they can create their own babies. You know, they're saying that, you know, you could be a woman and have a higher authority in this society. You know, that blasphemy, a part of that blasphemy is everything they do that goes contrary to the Holy Scriptures. So this country is full of the blasphemy. This kingdom is full of blasphemy. Okay, okay. So so it says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, and that blasphemy goes into this technology. The blasphemy goes into the technology of this beast system. Okay. You know, and it also goes into them making claims that, you know, that we are not the people and this, that, forth, and the other. You know, there's a lot that comes with that blasphemy. Verse 4, and that woman is talking about America. Okay, the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, because purple represents what? Purple represents royalty. So this woman was decked out in royalty. Okay, which that's America. You know, at one point, people used to think that the streets of America was paved with gold. Okay, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and scarlet represents what? Red. Who's called red in the Bible? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, so you can also use that to line that up with the fact that Esau will be ruling Babylon in the last days. So the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Oh, yeah, you know, gold and precious stones, right? Now, going back to when Christopher Columbus first came over here, okay, after the Spaniards had slaughtered the natives of this land and put them into slavery, one of the things they did, one of the things they did after Jake and the North American Kingdom, after the Southern and North American Kingdom has served their captivity, right? In the year 1948, not 1948, there was something called a gold rush. Okay, there was something called a gold rush where, basically they were seizing all the gold and silver that our people owned. And as a matter of fact, that actually started when Christopher Columbus came over here with the Spaniards. Okay, when they killed off the so-called North American Indians of the tribe of Gad, when they killed off the Taino Indians, which the world calls Puerto Ricans, from the tribe of Ephraim, when they were killing off the Seminole Indians from the tribe of Florida, which from the tribe of Reuben, which predominantly inhabited the southern parts of America. Okay, when they was killing off the Aztec Indians, which are the Mexicans from the tribe of Issachar, when they was killing off the natives of this land, what was Christopher Columbus and the Spaniards doing? They was going around taking all of our gold, our silver. They was taking all of our stones, our precious gemstones, and basically they was hoarding it off to themselves. Okay. And then you had the 13 colonies of Britain. Okay, when they came over here, they plundered this land. And then you had the so-called English settlers, which a lot of those English settlers, which settled in the land of America, a lot of them came from the line of those the English Dutch mercenaries when they came over here to the land of America to kill off Gad with what? Gatling guns, muskets. And after they had killed off a lot of our people, the English had put a lot of our people into slavery, and then they started calling themselves what? English settlers. They started to settle in our land. Okay? And as they started to settle in our land, they were hiring, they were basically while they had a lot of our people in slavery, talking about the so-called North American Indians, and the so-called natives of this land, right? They had them gathering gold and silver out of the rivers, out of the lakes, and basically giving them to these so-called English settlers. Okay? Different mines, what? Digging for gold and for precious stones. All of the precious stones and gold and the silver that was once in our possession was taken away from us. By who? By those English settlers. Okay? So when it says that Babylon was decked out with all manner of precious stones and pearls and gold and silver, well, there you go. Okay? When all those golds and silver and precious stones were stolen from us. During when the English Dutch mercenaries came over here and killed us off. Okay, and then they seized all of our precious stones, gold and silver and pearls and all the manner of precious things we had. Okay, so it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Okay? Okay, all those precious possessions that was taken from us. Okay, the gold the precious stones, the pearls, that was all taken from us. Having a golden cup in their hand full of abominations and filthiness of the earth. Okay? And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. Wait a minute. Mystery Babylon the Great. That's America. Okay? As a matter of fact, America is the feminine way of saying Amerigo Vespucci, because the name America comes from who? A man who was into like drawing maps and all that stuff. His name was called Amerigo Vespucci. Okay, and America was named after him. Now, in the book of Psalms, it tells you that they call their lands after their own names. That Africa comes from Lucio Scipio Africanus. Okay, Asia comes from Lucio Scipio Asiaticus. You see? So it says, Revelation 17:5, it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Yeah, abominations of the earth. Because, well, like it tells you in Maccabees, the first chapter, okay, when Alexander's four generals, Lysimachus, Cassander, Seleucid, and Ptolemy, when they all set crowns upon their heads, what happened? Wickedness multiplied in the earth. Why? Because they are the wicked. And when the wicked is in rulership, abominations start, the wickedness and abominations start to spread throughout the whole earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. And when did that happen? That happened during the Renaissance period. Okay? Because during the Renaissance period, what was going on? Well, as we were being taken down from power, you know, a lot of our people, the natives of this land, which were Israelites, the natives were being slaughtered through disease warfare and Gatling guns. And then when the southern tribe came over here, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, okay, no, when we were sold to plantations, we went through a lot of atrocities. Okay, there was a lot of murder going on, a lot of torture going on, a lot of whipping. You know, a lot of blood was shed during the time of slavery. A lot of blood was shed during the time of slavery. So you want to know how this woman was drunken with the blood of the saints? That happened during the time of slavery when the Renaissance period was still going on. Yeah, this land is polluted by the blood of the Israelites. As a matter of fact, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 35, verse 33. Okay, Numbers. Okay, let's go to Numbers. No, it's Numbers chapter 33, verse 35. Okay, it says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. No. Salat. It's Numbers chapter 33, verse 30. No, it's Numbers chapter 35, verse 33. Okay, so Numbers 35, verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. How come blood defiles this land? Because of all the bloodshed that went on. Because not only was the blood of so-called Negroes, you know, the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern tribes were shed over here, but the blood of the northern tribes was shed over here. So blood defiles this land. And that's why, like it tells you in Revelation, the 17th chapter, the woman was drunken with the blood of the saints. Okay? So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Okay, so back in Revelation chapter 17, verse 6, and I saw the woman, Babylon, America, drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. Yeah, because some of us are going to be martyrs in the future. Some of us is going to be martyrs for Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua's sake. So yeah, some of us know. And I say some of us because what did Yahushua say in the book of Matthew? He said, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death. In 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, it says that we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we be with the Lord evermore. So not all of us is going to die. Some of us are going to be beheaded in these concentration camps. So she was drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. Okay? And the matter of fact, let me get a precept to that. The fact that the martyrs of Yahushua, she was drunken with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. Okay? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast. So John the Revelator, he saw the souls of the Israelites, which had the testimony of Yahushua, that were beheaded in these concentration camps. So when I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark in their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Yahushua 1,000 years. You see? Okay, so back in Revelation, chapter 17, verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Okay. So now let's skip down to verse 18. Revelation chapter 7, Revelation chapter 17, verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city. What great city? That great city is Babylon, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Okay. You know what? Let's read verse 15 first. Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. It says, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth. Who's the whore? That's Babylon the Great, America. Okay, where the whore sitteth are people, peoples, multitudes, and nations and tongues. Now, if you notice, it says tongues, right? So the whore sits upon many tongues. Well, what is the language that these different heathens predominantly speak around the world? Okay? Do you see Arabs speaking Chinese or Japanese whenever they speak in the news? No. Do you see the Chinese or Japanese speaking Swahili or East Indian language? No. What is the top language that these different nations speak, especially when they have meetings? They speak English. Okay? Who predominantly speaks English? America does. So that further proves that America is Babylon. Okay? So now let's go back to Isaiah. So now we know that the Medes are the Russians and that America is Babylon the Great. Okay? So the Lord is raising up, he's rousing up Russia against Babylon. So Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. So the Lord is stirring up Russia against who? Against Babylon, which is the United States of America, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows shall dash the young man to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, okay, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, how was ancient Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed? Ancient Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by fire and brimstone. Okay, fire and brimstone would be what the world calls meteorites. But guess what? The modern day fire and brimstone is going to come in the form of intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay? So this country is going to be destroyed via intercontinental ballistic missiles. And nukes, that's the new talks in the news. Okay? Every country is talking about nukes. And as a matter of fact, this year, North Korea had put out a decree for a mass production of intercontinental ballistic missiles. Why? Because their intent is going to be to use them, especially on the United States of America. Verse 20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Now, when you look at ancient Babylon is technically still there. So when this current Babylon is destroyed by intercontinental ballistic missiles, guess what? There's going to be nothing left of this country. It's just going to be one big desert, like it's going to describe. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. Okay? It says, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And their time is near to come, and they shall not be prolonged. So all these countries around the world are getting stirred up for what? They're getting stirred up for war. All these countries are getting stirred up for war. We got Germany, as of recent, they just started dispatching troops. China dispatched several helicopters and warships to Taiwan Strait to conduct military drills. Why is that? They're making preparation for war. Okay, South Korea and the United States just conducted some joint military drills, which put North Korea on alert. North Korea last year was test firing intercontinental ballistic missiles, which put Japan on alert. Okay? We got the situation between Turkey and Iran escalating over Armenia. Okay? You know, you got the so-called Israelis coming up with all kinds of accusations against Iran. And who's doing all this? The Lord is. As a matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah, because the Lord is the one rallying these countries For what? They're rallying them up for war. But what war? Any old war? No. The Lord is getting them roused up for World War III. If we come over here, okay, Isaiah chapter 13, verse 4, it says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, okay, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, the Lord of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. So you see, Yahweh, he mustereth the hosts of the battle. What does it mean when you muster a host of the battle? It means you getting them roused up for war. Okay? You're rousing them up for war. That's what you're doing. So the Lord is rousing these nations up for war. Furthermore, if we come over here to the book of Joel, okay, let's go to the book of Joel. Okay, this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. The Gentiles of Joel 3 and 9 is talking about anybody who is not an Israelite. So if your father's lineage on your father's side does not go back to a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native Indian, you're not an Israelite. So these Gentiles in Joel 3 and 9 is talking about Chinese people. It's talking about North Koreans, which North Koreans, South Koreans, and Chinese people, North and South Koreans. Guess what? They're all Moabites. Okay. Okay. A lot of those Taiwanese people, they're Moabites. Okay. The Ammonites, they are heathens. Their line goes back to Ammon. The East Indians, they're heathens. Their line goes back to Elam. The Arabs, they're heathens. Their line goes back to Ishmael. The Africans, they are heathens. Their line goes back to Ham. The Samoans, the Hawaiians, they're heathens. Their line goes back to Japheth. So-called white people, whether if they're calling themselves Russians, Jewish, Americans, Europeans, Australians, they're heathens. Their line goes back to Esau. So every heathen on this planet has a biblical nationality. Now, like it says here in Joel 3 and 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare what? Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares and the swords, and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And how's the weak saying they are strong? Through their nuclear capability. Okay? North Korea can say they are strong. Why? Because they have nuclear capability. They are nuclear capable. That's why they can say they are strong. Okay? Iran can say they are strong. Why? Because they are nuclear capable. China can say they are strong. Why? Because they are nuclear capable. You know, India can say they are strong. Why? Because they are nuclear capable. Many of these countries that was once regarded as weak during World War II, because America was the only country with mass destructions, well, guess what? America's no longer the country with mass destruction. Okay? There's many countries on this planet now that have weapons of mass destruction. Okay? Russia, China, North Korea, India, Iran, NATO, Turkey, Germany. Okay? There's a lot of these countries that have weapons of mass destruction. So it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble and come, all ye heathen. and gather yourselves round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down. Gather where? Gather over to the Middle East. Okay? So assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, because ultimately World War III is going to take place over there in the Middle East, in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which goes back to the Hebrew word Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's the judge. Why? Because the Lord is going to judge all those heathens over there in the Middle East, especially for the controversy of Zion, the Israelites, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. Okay? Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The vats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened. Why? Because because World War III is going to escalate into a nuclear war. And during the nuclear war, America is going to be hit with 200 million nuclear warheads. The land of Israel is going to be hit with nuclear warheads. And different areas of the world is going to be hit with nuclear warheads. And all of the smoke and all of the debris, all of the smoke and all of the debris coming from the explosion of those nuclear warheads is going to block out the sky. The smoke and the debris from the explosion of those nuclear warheads is going to be so thick that you're not going to be able, the sun's light or the moon's light or the star's light is not going to be able to shine through it. So it says, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and from the heavens, and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. Did you hear that? So that proves that only Israelites can receive salvation. And that starts with the elect. Let's read that again. The Lord shall also roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord, Yahweh, ahchyam, Yahweh Shai, will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Okay? So the Lord is only coming back to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel. Now let's go to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein. The world and all things shall come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the melters shall be melted with their blood. Because during World War III over there in the Middle East, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed going on. Because World War III is going to consist of what? Russia, the United States, NATO, Iran, okay, those so-called Israelis, Germany, Turkey, China, North Korea, okay, maybe even Japan, Libya, okay, Libya. So it's going to be one big bloodbath over there, okay? So it's going to be a major slaughter over there. The scriptures tell you that their stink shall come up out of their carcasses. host of heaven shall be dissolved. Why? It's going to be dissolved through the intense heat of those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Matter of fact, let's go to the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Okay, the word fervent means extremely hot. So the elements down here are going to be melted with extremely hot heat. Extremely hot heat from what? The heat from those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, it says the earth also and all the works that are therein shall be burned up. So back in Isaiah 34, verse 4, it says that all the heavens, all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. Now when it says heaven, that's not talking about the sky, that's not talking about outer space, that's talking about down here. Because there's 3 heavens. The first heaven is here on earth. This is the so-called white man's heaven. The second heaven is what the world calls outer space. The third heaven is the spirit world. So this heaven, this current heaven, the so-called white man's heaven, is going to be dissolved. It's all going to be melted via those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay? And all the heavens, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall roll together as a scroll. Right, because when you look at the explosion of a nuclear warhead, the explosion of a nuclear warhead literally looks like a scroll rolling outward towards outwards around the atmosphere. Okay, so it's rolling out like a scroll. So it says, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. What sword is that? That's talking about intercontinental ballistic missiles. Because when you look at their functions, their first priority is to shoot up into the atmosphere of the sky, travel around the globe to the destination, and then come back down to the earth. Where the capsule of the intercontinental ballistic missile comes off and multiple nuclear warheads rains out of that intercontinental ballistic missile. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. Okay, the sword of the Lord is built. So the sword of the Lord is going to come down upon Idumea. Okay, so wherever you Edomites are dwelling at, whether if you're living in the land of Israel calling yourself Jewish, or whether if you over here on the soils of America calling yourself Americans, Idumea, you Edomites, those nuclear warheads that's going to be shot off by Russia and these other countries going to come down upon y'all. Okay. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness, with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord had the sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So there will be a World War III. So there will be World War III, and there will be a nuclear war. So with that, I'm going to say, all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, ahchyam, ahchyam. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with sincerity, while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And as always, I would like to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, ahchyam, Yahweh Shai. With that, I'm going to say Shalom, and on to the next one. BTA, Abad Babal. figure out how to turn this off. So how do I stop this?